Louise Neal, I am so happy to have you on the red couch today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on the red couch. I wish I had a nice red couch like yours. I've just got an office chair.
Yeah, occasionally we just need to be comfortable in our lives and in our work and do something that is cozy.
Oh, I'd like an English cup of tea. I actually just said to my staff, no, can't have tea on camera. We'll have a professional glass of water. But us English do like that tea.
I think we would have accepted that.
A
Cup of tea as well.
cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah. So, Louise, let me give the audience a quick idea, and maybe that leads us directly into your fun fact of
Yeah,
how you caught my attention. So, we're in the same network, the Relocate the Profit um, network,
network.
and I think it was about 2 years ago where we planned an event, and you created this beautiful piece
Bracelet.
of jewelry.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed. And it was like you gave it as a prize, so we could fundraise more money. So tell us the story about you and jewelry, and how you got
Oh, yeah,
into
jewelry.
this.
Oh, I think it was down to my nana who introduced me to jewelry. She had this most beautiful 1920s diamond ring, and I was just fixated. And I said to my nana, I really want that when you die. And of course, I have got it. And I think it's my passion. I'm an artist, and so we can go into my little fun fact. But I'm very creative. I think one of my absolute passions was to design jewelry at some stage, but I ended up being an actual stained glass designer, and I would love to still do jewelry. Another fun fact is I used to go to auctions with my husband and used to get carried away. And this is before marriage. And we would sit away, and I used to always look at the old jewelry. And I had a really good eye for stones. And I used to bid on them, and I collected a lot of stones. And pieces. And now I've got two daughters, and so they're very lucky girls. And that's how this bracelet came about. I used to collect all these bits and pieces and all the little diamonds and rubies and sapphires and emeralds. I just had them in a pot, and it was just waiting to be designed. So I was very lucky to be introduced to a lovely designer, and I knew what I wanted, a bracelet, something very Christian Dior. And we created it, and Hannah actually won it, who's part of the Relocate the Profit. So I'm really pleased it's gone to one of the, God, what do you call them? Uh, the ones who kind of came up with Relocate the Profit. It was Miriam and Ben as well, Jones. So, they've done very well. So yeah, I love jewelry. I've had some wonderful pieces made and inspired, and I'm hoping to have more. I keep saying to my husband, "What do you want?" He always says, "What do you want for your birthday and Christmas?" Girl's best friend, diamonds, furs, shoes, bags, but preferably sparkles. It's terrible, I know, but I love a sparkle.
I think it's very cute. The most shiny thing that I got myself for New Year's, about not for Christmas, but for New Year's, about 16 years ago, was a MacBook. And that started my blogging habit. And I also got over my fear of computers because of that cute little shiny thing. So, Louise, how on earth did you get from stained glass design into recruiting and academy creating and all the fun stuff that you're doing today?
How did I get there? Well, so when I graduated at Chelsea School of Arts, I got an opportunity to work for an architectural firm to design stained glass windows for the Navy in their little kind of temple, not temple, they're their kind of prayer rooms in, on the ship. And this was based in Brixton. and it was an amazing opportunity. But unfortunately, the architectural firm did lose that contract, so I was first in and first out. So we were invited to a dinner party, my husband and I, and this lady, and I didn't want to do graphics design. I'm a bit too kind of creative and spirit, well, a bit of a spirit, I would say, or freehand. And they said to me, "Why don't you try recruitment?" And I said, "I have no idea what that is." And it says dealing with people, and I went, "Oh, I love people, really love people." And so I actually had an incredible opportunity with a company called Montrose, part of the Hayes Group, and they're still going to this very day. And so my first job was recruiting in the construction industry. And of course, my father, was horrified. You don't know anything about recruitment in construction. And I said, no, I'll learn. And lucky enough, my father-in-law was a managing director of a very large civil engineering firm.
Hmm.
So he guided me and taught me everything that went in the ground and above it. And I was there for 4 or 5 years, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. I really enjoyed, and in those days, going on with a hard hat, going on to building sites in and around Essex and London, being wolf whistled, which you're not allowed to do. And I had a blast. I cannot believe what I saw and climbed up in scaffolding. Then, yeah, so that's how I got, it from transition from stained glass to dealing with people. And I think, to be successful with people, you have to be creative. You have to have a creative mind and understand the different types of personalities are out there. And that's a gift that I've got. I love it.
Well, to me, it sounds like you found your passion on one hand, but you also found your profession.
I know.
And what about mm, when did you start expanding into all these countries and, became self-employed and started your own recruiting company? How did that happen?
Well, I had an opportunity with an IT. This is funny. Me and IT. I after doing construction, I went into an IT firm in recruitment, and I really built up a very strong relationship with the head of procurement in IBM. And they said, "Oh, could you help us recruit in the Netherlands and Germany and Hungary?" And I said, "Absolutely." So that's when I had my first taste of what international talent management is. I built up a huge portfolio of it was contractors in those days within IT, and then a big team. And this is the funniest thing, Angie. I had over 50 odd people working for me in the Netherlands, and then another 10, 15 in Germany. I actually employed an individual, and this is in the early 80s. Sorry, no, mid 80s. And I had to employ someone who could help these contractors find accommodation because they were actually being paid on a daily rate.
Yeah.
And if they're not there, they're not getting paid. So I recruited someone who can work for me to find accommodation and get them registered locally. So
Yeah.
if you think about it, that was the first start of mobility relocation.
You started a
Getting,
relocation company and you
I
didn't
know,
even know
if
what it
I
was
know
called.
if I knew what I knew now, honestly, God. So that's how I started to do international talent management. Then I had various other different roles and industries. Then I had an opportunity to have a family, so I had a few years off and had a break. My brain was still very active, and decided I needed to get back into full-time work. So I actually applied for a role with a company in recruitment that specialised in global mobility. And it took me a bit of time to get back because I had the mush brain from being a mum. And I'll never forget I had a challenge to try and get the server account in Singapore in the APAC region. Took me 6 months, and I built a lot of trust with, her name's Wendy Yole. She was the HR director at the time, and Jacob George was the president of the APAC and EMEA region. Wonderful Claire Williams, and there's some amazing people I got connected with, and I had the fortunate I was really lucky to actually been flown over there and meet them, and I built up the account, and when when they actually Server actually won a lot of contracts. They actually asked me, Wendy and Jacob, if I could set my own business up. They liked the way I worked. I listened. They liked the style, the candidates, the honesty, and more to the point, the knowledge that I was bringing to them, what was happening within the market. It was becoming a partnership instead of just putting a CV in front of them.
Yeah.
And so I took the gamble, biggest gamble I've ever done in my life. I've never run a business. I don't have a business degree. I'm not good at numbers. I'm good at percentages. But running a company, no. Um, excuse me.
I don't believe a word you're saying from looking at you as one of my role models.
Oh, don't be. I'm not.
I can't believe you're saying that, but
Uh,
let's hear. So
oh,
you
so
had some doubts. Let's put it this
I
way.
did. Oh, absolutely. You know, you just think, well, what is the right time? Is there a right time? And I had a great supportive husband, and he said, look, let's just go for it. What have you got to lose? So these last 10 years, I have been running the Easy Tiger, and that was a funny thing. How did I come up with that name? Oh dear.
Which I
So
love, by the way.
do you?
I
So
love your name. I love the logo. And I make the connection to Asia immediately. But I don't know
well,
if
that
that
was it.
anyone
Yeah.
else does. Yeah.
So everyone kind of, are you part of Asian Tigers? I said, no, no, no. But because I was asked to set my own business up, I'm a Leo. I love the lion, and tigers, and very into cats. So I was actually skiing, and we had a whiteout in Austria, in Filsmuth, and lovely friends of ours invited us, and we ended up being in a restaurant drinking Jägermeisters. And I said, right, guys, we have to come up with a name. And the funniest thing is, they said to me, because I keep saying it's quite a British, I think, kind of saying, easy tiger. And that easy tiger is like, calm down, calm down. And I always used to say that. And they said, I think you should do that, use easy tiger. So that's how it was formed. Top of a mountain in a whiteout, playing Jenga with little Jaeger bottles, wait until we could ski again. And yeah, that's how Easy Tiger was formed. And I've never looked back. I think running your own business is a challenge. I think what set me quite preparing for it is, I was a swimmer, and I got to the nationals. So I was very regimented, getting up at 5, training 2 hours in the morning, in the evenings, competing, and I wouldn't change it any other way. And so I have built up resilience. And I think running your business, you have to have resilience. You'll always take 2 steps forward and probably 50 back. But you've got to be passionate and believe in yourself. So I think that's my kind of feedback for someone who wants to set our own business up.
I think you already summarized the next question
Oh, sorry.
into your. No, no, that's fine. That's fine. So, we're always like, we always want to think about, okay, what if I had to do it again?
If I had to do it again.
If I had to do it again, with the knowledge and experience that I have right now, what would you do differently?
So 10 years ago, we weren't very digital. Now we are. I would probably have a partner. Instead of doing it on my own, I would definitely have a partner, and I would have a young partner where I could really get the technology and the skills that is required to really operate in this very fast moving digital environment. But would I change much? No, because the foundations that I've built up is how I am today. To be successful, I think you have to have that human element and understand and the passion and emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
We're currently recruiting for AI companies within this space, which is great. But dealing with immigration and mobility is good for just sending compliance information, but that old-fashioned voice at the end of the line is still wanted by a lot of the elder generation, the Gen X's. I know as we move into the Gen Z generation, they just want instant information, facts, and they move on. That's the generation that we are in now and is going into, which is fine, but we've got to adapt to it.
When you say that, one thing comes to my mind, and that is the educational factor. Now, Gen Z are usually already in the workforce. What do you think, if we think about global mobility managers, HR managers, recruiters even, and you think about the education we provide,
Yeah.
what do you think, what could we do in addition to what we're already doing in the to to teach the field? What are things that maybe we're not stressing enough?
I think there is this translation gap. We got a miscommunication. So
Hmm.
what I'm noticing, well, so we have, I'm a Gen X, and we're very much so been programmed all these years to do it this way. You go to work, you are in work, and you kind of live there literally, and you come back. And that goes on, and I think it changed so much, as we all know, when COVID came.
Hmm.
And so, remote models really became a highlight. A lot of, remote working was still there. And then this hybrid model came in. We've got the Gen X's that should have, I mean, I think this generation has really suffered to a point, because some were, at their university, couldn't even take their degree and were just literally at the time given that grade through their coursework, etc., weren't able to do a lot of the work experiences. Also go to conferences. This is early part of leaving university, going physically to interviews, learning. So there's quite a lot of that type of experience been missed. So they are now doing it digitally, which is completely different to how we've done it. What they don't understand is the foundations that we've built up, and very traditionally how we've kind of got jobs and we work, to now they want to stay at home. They want to have, what does work-life balance mean to them? Just staying at home. If you ask them what do they do with that balance, that some of them will go to the gym, or some of them will do, I don't know, whatever. But it's their time. They choose that they want to have it, but they don't understand the mindset so much from a Gen X. So there is huge miscommunication, and I think going forward, for definitely mobility managers, there's no assignment ever going to be the same now going forward. It is these young leaders are possibly going to stay a year, 18 months, 2 years tops. That's it. Don't think that they're going to stay in that company for long, because they're not. They like adventure, they like change, and still a lot of them are still searching the right career path. They don't know what they want. So they have this very amazing free spirit. So I think, the training and development side of any organisation, they need to think about and communicate directly with this generation. Say, okay, what are we going to do? How can we actually help you progress? What experiences do you want? Understanding that if they are remote, you've got to be really good in how you communicate the tasks that what you want them to do. You need to try and educate them the culture, them vision and mission virtually for this business? How do you make them belong to this company? So there's lots of things. I mean, this has been going on for 5 years, but I think we've kind of moved it to the side and are not really addressing it. And I think this is an area where we really need to action now before it gets out of hand. You know, companies will lose complete identity. But then we've also got the tech industry. You know, they are literally fast, furious, tech, tech, tech. You've got a different type of skill set behind the scene that most likely don't need to speak to the public. You know, it's changing.
I agree with you, Louise. And I think, what sometimes I think we tend to forget, especially in mobility or HR, is that the world as we knew it has changed completely.
Mhm.
So even some of the frameworks, the models, the performance management systems, for example,
Yeah.
competency development, it all has to change drastically. So it's actually going to work
Yeah.
from now on,
Mm.
especially with, AI in the workforce also coming up. And, one of the
Not
things
coming
that
up, it's here.
coming up like
It's here.
everywhere, being
Yeah.
everywhere, yeah, being
Mm.
relevant, in how we recruit and how we develop talent. And, one of the things I propose as a solution for everything is yoga, no, coaching. Like whenever somebody tells me, they have pain somewhere, I tell, do yoga. It's my solution for everything. But I think coaching is also, one of the things that we should do more to
Yeah.
help with the gaps because of this, like the communication gaps, but also the gaps between the old world and the new world. And I hear you have a fascinating project going on. So do you want to talk a
I
bit more
do.
about your academy?
Yeah.
Because I think it's really worth sharing.
So I really thrive on people and the energy that they give, and it gives me a huge buzz to help individuals. So last October or last year, there was a situation I had to handle that caused me to think a different way. And in October, or actually no, it was September, I was sitting and scrolling on a Saturday, thinking, right, I need to understand who I'm sharing a stage with. I was sponsoring events in the financial sector. And I was literally listening to this lady who was exceptionally inspiring. And then this commercial comes up, Andy Harrington. He's changed my life. So he was a keynote speaker, and it was Academy. And I thought, you know what, I need this. I'm not a lover of keynote speaking. I don't know who is, but there is a methodology behind it. And I've been learning it. I'm still rubbish, but I feel better when I communicate in a more of a public space. So I went there 4 days. Oh my God, those 4 days, life changing. Oh, I had the girly tears. Oh, I can't do this. But I had to come up with an idea how to present in front of the public a new venture. And I was on the phone to my husband, and he said, well, you've been in talent management for 37 years. You think of the different processes you have learnt and gone through. What is missing is the full end-to-end solution. Individuals don't understand or know what they want to do, what career path they want to do. So since October, and we're hoping to roll it out in 3 months, I'm quite an impulsive person. I actually thought I could do this in 2 months, Angie. And oh God, so October, wow, okay, 8, 9 months now. I've had a few health problems, but that's another story. But we've created the Driven Professional Career Program, and it's 6 pillars, 24 modules, and it really helps individuals understand their traits, a lot of psychometric assessments, as well as emotional intelligence as IQ, that's an extra. But we also got a lovely assessment that helps individuals define the type of business conversation they are, what category they're in, and how to improve that. And we've designed an algorithm in-house to bring that data and all that experience they've done to date in education to really define at least the three areas or three career paths that they could really truly thrive in. And then we help them, once they've got all that done, we help them understand what is a good CV, adapt it to different countries, the different cultures around the world. What is a LinkedIn and what is the best LinkedIn to, which is really important now, how to digitally network, as well as that traditional old-fashioned face-to-face networking, and how to understand about tonality, what to look like. The word is clean, and what is the right? I know you won't believe it. Good old traditional, keep your shoes clean, and hygiene is really sensible. But how to stand out, and what is the objectives of networking, and then we give them the tools in finding the right job and the type of companies, then interviewing, the different types of interviewing and preparation for it, to understanding what contracts are and offers, to what onboarding is in that first year of their career. So it's going to be a software that's coming out on a bronze, silver, gold and platinum level, and this will be rolled out all over the world for people. Again, it will help the Gen Zs to channel what they really want to do and their biggest strengths, to helping individuals maybe transition into a different business sector. It doesn't matter how old you are. It is I will say foolproof in helping this individual identify themselves again and build confidence. That's more importantly, and stand out. And the other thing is, we're all being surrounded by ChatGPT, DeepSeek and Pilot or Copilot. There's lots of kind of AI tools out there, and everyone's writing their CVs and putting all these commands. And all these CVs are looking the same, and
Yeah.
people are forgetting that. So that's fine, but be your true self. So that's why this course will really help you be you. So when you are sending your CV generated, whatever, you can actually still be that person and not think, oh, I'm a clone. You need to stand out. But this is what the Academy does. So in 3 months' time, we'll be doing a massive launch.
It sounds amazing. And I'm so happy, that you're doing this. This is just great.
Yeah.
There's two questions I have, follow-up
Yeah.
questions. And I'll start with the first. No, I'll ask you both questions at the same time. So, one of the things I was thinking about is, do you need any pilot participants? And would that maybe something you want to offer here on the
Yes.
call?
We've got case studies happening. We've got case studies. There's two amazing, I call them students. Well, actually, I want to tell you, there's a young lad who, very traditionally, in a Gen X type of parenting, you go through the school, yeah, you've got to do a degree. You're really good, above average, you've got to get a degree. All right, you go off first week in his degree, social media, marketing, and he lasted a week. He hated it.
Uh-huh.
He said, Mum, I can't do it. Comes back. Well, what are you going to do? They went through all various different job boards and found border force opportunity. So the last 3.5 years, he's been in the border force, which he really enjoyed, learning about, migration or migrants to illegal substances coming into the country and various other things. But he wasn't being stimulated enough. So he went through the first part, and I think it was very, very hard for him to understand about the psychometric assessments, definitely understanding the weak areas where you can grow. And they don't realize that's a positive area. It's your growth area. That's how you're going to really stretch yourself. And he came out, and his kind of career path was either legally in immigration to some kind of compliance role. And he's decided, and it also helps to identify the skill gaps in the education that you need to do to go into this area. And so he's now actually taken the IAA. He's self-funding, he's self-learning. I do hope that someone in the network would help him on some advice on the exam, but he's taking it, I think, at the beginning of July. He's loving it. And his dream is to pass it, join a company, and get out from where he's a village type of mindset, go into London, go to Selfridges and have a wage where he can actually buy a really lovely present for his mum. And I went, oh, your dream will come true. But he's changed in confidence because he realizes now he's got something to really thrive towards. And then we had a lovely young girl in university in Germany. She's German, and she was doing HR. She liked HR, but there's so many different parts, so many different sectors of HR.
Yeah.
And she thought that after the degree, she should go straight away onto a master's. And her father's like, no, no, no. So I've got involved, and we're doing all the assessments. And I said, whatever happens, please do not go for a master's. Live a little bit, get some experience. But the area that she has come out and really is interested in is in the talent acquisition side. And because she's coming to the end of her degree, she's got an internship, and they last a year and they get paid. And she really wanted a particular internship. So we trained her, she did the academy, and she got it. She starts at the end of July. And then we've got another lovely young lad. He's got dyslexia, and he's maths orientated. He wanted to go into wealth management or private banking, and he got an apprenticeship. And he's now on the last pillar, the nurture, how to really stand out, connect. And my network is vast, so he's now talking to some very senior leaders within wealth management, and he's doing a lot of research, and he's just loving it. So it works. So if you've got anybody that would like to be a case study, all we ask for is video testimonials, areas of where we can improve, and what the feedback is. So yeah.
So anyone who's applying from this video
Yep.
with the code word red couch might be
That's it.
considered. Okay,
Yes,
awesome. Love
absolutely.
it. Thank you,
Doesn't matter what
Louise.
country you're in, what age, anything. Would love to hear from you.
I have a final question
Yep.
because you mentioned networking. So I don't like to use the word anymore because it has such a bad rep. So I usually talk about building and maintaining professional relationships, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's building relationships and maintaining them. And
Yep.
that's what it is about. It's like a friendship, just usually focused around the professional topics. So, and it can move into a friendship afterwards, at least
Yep.
in my German thinking. So that's how I think.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So what is your personal preferred method for building and maintaining professional relationships?
Being absolutely genuine. I I learned something probably 18, 19 years ago, and he'll probably watch this, and he's in your network. Alistair Murray. And at the time, Alistair was working for Server as a sales director. And we were at the Institute of Directors at a relocate function. And we know I was told to build up relationships. And, as you can see, I'm very light-hearted and fun. I'm really sporty, very creative, can talk to, I don't really particularly like talking about politics and religion because that always causes wars. But I can talk about anything. I can even make paint drying really funny. Anyway, he said to me, Louise, you're not going to poach me. I'm not going to recruit you. And I went, no, I just want to know about you. What? You want to know about me? And I said, yeah. I said, so what are you doing? He said, well, I'm running the London Marathon. I said, I'll sponsor you, because he was doing it for a charity, a kids charity, I think, at the time. So I sent him some money, and he was absolutely shocked. Never mentioned recruitment to him at all in that time. And so it's about building and knowing individuals and, what are your pain points? Where can I help you? Introductions. And the amount of introductions and help I've given across the 18 countries I've been working in is unbelievable. Even mergers and acquisitions, I introduce, here you are, off you go, walk away. So it's about building trust, knowledge, and don't do any hard selling. Talk to people, understand them. That's how I've done it over the years. And how
Abs-
to be remembered. Remembered. And that's the key thing. How are you remembered? Going back to my very point of my nana, even though she had a nice sparkly ring, she always dressed immaculate. And that was one of my legacies. I always thought, I'm not saying I dressed immaculate, I dressed to my budget and I always think I look clean and always look smart and always a colour. So someone I think, oh yeah, that's Louise over there. That's me. So always think how you're going to stand out.
yeah, beautiful. Louise, it was great having you on the red couch, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Oh,
When we meet in person, we have to find some creative way to come up with some fun things. Maybe not Jägermeister. I have a bad Jägermeister experience.
oh yeah, I wouldn't do it
Wine
again.
will do it for me,
Yeah.
but I really
Oh,
look forward to meeting you in person.
oh, I would love to, Angie, and hopefully we will do that really soon. And I want to thank you and the red couch. I wish I had a red couch in my office, but I really appreciate your questioning and honestly, it's a great show. You've had some amazing people over the time, and I think that you're a real kind of a true leader and very inspirational to do this. So thank you inviting me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, Louise. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.